In our fast-paced world, we often think of life's end as an abrupt event, a sudden stop. But more often than not, life doesn't conclude with a sudden jolt. It transitions with the quiet grace of a setting sun. The body, in its profound wisdom, begins a slow, gentle process of preparing for its final rest, often sending quiet messages months, and sometimes even a year, before its journey is complete. These messages are not meant to cause alarm. Instead, they are an invitation and opportunity for us to listen more deeply, to love more fully, and to provide comfort in the most meaningful ways. To recognize these signs is to be given the gift of time. It is time to have conversations that have been left unspoken, to share stories, to hold a hand in shared silence, and to ensure that the final chapter of a loved one's life is defined not by medical intervention, but by dignity, peace, and profound love. This guide is intended to walk you through these signs with tenderness and understanding. It is not a clinical checklist to be feared, but a map to help you navigate this sacred time with compassion. By understanding what is happening, we can replace fear with preparation, anxiety with presence, and a sense of helplessness with the quiet confidence that comes from providing truly meaningful care. Let us explore this journey together, learning to honor the body's natural rhythm as it prepares to come to a place of ultimate peace. The first sign: a change in appetite and physical form. One of the earliest and most consistent signs that the body is beginning its final, great transition is a noticeable change in appetite and, consequently, in physical form. This rarely happens overnight. It begins subtly. Perhaps a favorite meal is left half-eaten. A once hearty appetite gives way to a preference for smaller, simpler foods. Clothes may begin to hang a little more loosely, or a belt needs to be tightened by an extra notch. Well-meaning family and friends might rush to encourage more eating, bringing favorite dishes or nutritional supplements, fearing that their loved one is giving up. But it's essential to understand that this is often not a psychological choice but a profound physiological shift. The body, in its innate wisdom, understands that its needs are changing. The digestive system begins to slow down, and the body no longer processes nutrients with the same efficiency. The very senses of taste and smell, which make food so enjoyable, can begin to fade, making eating feel more like a chore than a pleasure. The body is beginning to conserve its energy. The complex process of digesting food requires a significant amount of the body's resources, and as it prepares for its final stages, it starts to redirect that energy away from digestion and toward more essential functions. It is a natural recalibration. Forcing large meals at this stage can sometimes cause more discomfort, such as nausea, bloating, or indigestion, than good. The emotional impact. For the individual experiencing this, the change can be emotionally complex. Someone who once took great pride in a healthy appetite or enjoyed cooking for others may feel a sense of loss or even frustration. They may feel they are disappointing their family by not eating what has been lovingly prepared. This can create a stressful dynamic around mealtimes, which should ideally be a time of comfort and connection. How to offer support. This is a time to shift the focus from quantity to quality, from nutrition for longevity to comfort for quality of life. Embrace comfort foods. Instead of focusing on balanced meals, offer small portions of foods that are easy to eat and soothing. Warm soups, puddings, ice cream, yogurt, or soft cooked eggs can be very appealing. Honor their cravings or lack thereof. Ask what sounds good to them, and if the answer is nothing, accept that peacefully. Sometimes, simply having a cup of tea or a few sips of a favorite juice is enough. Focus on hydration. Keeping hydrated is often more important than eating solid food. Offer small sips of water, herbal tea, or diluted juice throughout the day. Ice chips can also be very soothing and a good source of hydration. Make mealtimes about presence. Even if your loved one doesn't eat, sit with them during mealtimes. The social connection and the feeling of inclusion are deeply nourishing in their own right. Your presence says, "I am here with you," and that is a powerful message of love. Understanding this sign is about respecting the body's changing needs. It is about letting go of the expectation that a hearty appetite equals health and embracing a new definition of care, one that prioritizes peace and comfort above all else. The second sign, a deepening need for rest and stillness. Another profound change that often occurs in the year leading up to life's end is a pervasive and persistent sense of fatigue. This is not the ordinary tiredness one feels after a busy day. It is a deep, bone-deep weariness that sleep and rest do not seem to alleviate. It is a sign that the body's fundamental energy reserves are dwindling as it redirects its remaining resources toward the most essential functions of living. Activities that were once simple and routine can become monumental tasks. Getting out of bed, dressing, walking to the kitchen, or even holding a lengthy conversation can feel overwhelming and draining. You may notice your loved one spending more and more time sleeping or resting quietly in a favorite chair. Naps become more frequent and last longer. Their world may physically shrink to the confines of a single room, not out of a lack of interest, but out of a profound lack of physical energy. This happens because the body's core systems are slowing down. The heart may not pump blood as efficiently, circulation weakens, and the lungs may not draw in as much oxygen. As a result, muscles and organs receive less fuel, leading to this state of deep fatigue and weakness. Forcing activity or encouraging someone to push through it is often counterproductive and can deplete their precious, limited energy reserves even further. The emotional impact. This increasing weakness can be one of an elderly person's most difficult challenges. For someone who has lived a life of independence and activity, the inability to perform simple tasks can lead to feelings of frustration, helplessness, and even embarrassment. They may feel they have become a burden to others. This can cause them to withdraw socially, not because they no longer care for the company of others, but because the effort of engagement is simply too much to bear. How to offer support? The most compassionate response to this sign is to honor the body's need for rest, create a peaceful sanctuary, make their resting space as comfortable and serene as possible. Ensure their favorite chair or bed has pillows and warm blankets readily available. Keep the lighting soft and the noise level low. Prioritize quality over quantity of interaction. Instead of long visits that can be draining, opt for short, frequent, and meaningful moments of connection. A quiet 10-minute conversation, holding their hand while watching a show or reading a chapter of a book aloud can be far more valuable than a loud, lengthy family gathering. Sit in shared silence. Do not feel the need to fill every moment with conversation. The simple act of sitting quietly with your loved one offers a profound sense of companionship and reassurance. Your calm presence is a gift. Validate their feelings. Acknowledge their limitations with empathy. Phrases like, "It's okay to rest now," or "I can see you're tired, let's just be quiet together," can validate their experience and relieve them of the pressure to entertain or engage. By understanding this fatigue as a natural part of the journey, you can help your loved one conserve their energy for what truly matters, feeling loved, safe, and at peace. The third sign, a turning inward. As the body slows, the mind often follows suit. In the final year or months of life, you may notice significant changes in a loved one's cognitive function and social engagement. Someone who was once sharp and witty may become more forgetful, repeating stories or asking the same questions. They might struggle to follow a fast-paced conversation or seem confused about the time of day or where they are, even in familiar surroundings. This is often accompanied by a social withdrawal, a gentle turning inward. They may speak less, show less interest in hobbies or current events, and spend long periods in quiet contemplation. It can appear as if they are retreating into their own world. For families, this can be one of the most painful changes to witness, as it can feel like you are losing the person you knew even before they are physically gone. It's crucial to understand that this withdrawal is rarely a conscious choice to push loved ones away. As blood flow and oxygen to the brain naturally decrease, cognitive processing slows down. Engaging in conversation, tracking multiple speakers, and processing emotions all require significant mental energy. When that energy is limited, the brain prioritizes, and social interaction is often one of the first things to be conserved. They may also experience moments of confusion alternating with periods of perfect clarity, which can be disorienting for everyone. The emotional impact. For the individual, this can be a frightening and confusing experience. They may be aware of their own mental slips, which can cause anxiety or frustration. The retreat into their own world can also be a protective mechanism, a way to find peace away from a world that has become too loud, too fast, and too difficult to process. How to offer support. The key is to meet them where they are, not to try and force them back into the world you inhabit. Communicate with simplicity and gentleness. Speak in a calm, soft voice. Use short, simple sentences. Make eye contact and hold their hand to create a connection that goes beyond words. Avoid quizzing. Asking questions like, "Do you remember my name?" or "Do you know what day it is?" can create pressure and highlight their deficits. Instead, offer information freely. "Good morning, Mom. It's your daughter, Sarah. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning." Embrace nonverbal communication. A gentle touch, a soothing back rub, or the familiar scent of a favorite lotion can be deeply reassuring. Music from their youth can also be a powerful tool to evoke feelings of peace and pleasant memories without requiring cognitive effort. Share memories, don't demand them. Instead of asking them to recall events, share your own memories. "I was just thinking about that trip we took to the lake when I was a child. You made the best sandwiches." This allows them to participate passively and feel connected without pressure. This turning inward is a sacred part of the journey. By approaching it with patience and love, you can continue to connect with the essence of the person, assuring them that they are safe and loved, even when words fail. The fourth sign. A more delicate constitution as the body's systems conserve energy and slow down. The immune system, the body's protective force, also becomes less robust. One of the clearest physical signs of this is an increased vulnerability to infections and a noticeably slower healing process. You might find that your loved one, who was once rarely sick, now seems to be susceptible to every cold or bug that goes around. More significantly, common infections such as urinary tract infections, UTIs, pneumonia, or skin infections may occur more frequently. When they do occur, they can be more severe and take much longer to resolve, even with antibiotics. A simple cut or bruise that would have vanished in a few days might linger for weeks, and pressure sores can become a serious risk for those with limited mobility. This happens because the body no longer has the resources to mount a strong defense. Weaker circulation means that infection-fighting white blood cells and healing nutrients do not travel to the site of an injury or infection as efficiently. Furthermore, the classic signs of an infection, like a high fever, may be absent in an elderly person. Often, the first and only sign of a brewing infection is a sudden change in their mental state, such as increased confusion, lethargy, or refusal to eat. The emotional impact. For the individual, recurring illnesses can be physically and emotionally draining, leading to a cycle of discomfort and hospital visits. For families, it can be a frustrating and heartbreaking experience, a feeling of fighting a battle that can't be won. There is a strong temptation to push for ever more aggressive treatments, hoping that one more round of antibiotics will fix the problem. How to offer support. At this stage, the focus of care often needs to pivot from curative to comforting. Focus on preventative comfort. Meticulous care can make a world of difference. Keep their skin clean, dry, and well moisturized to prevent breaks and sores. Ensure they are repositioned frequently if they are bedbound. Good oral hygiene can prevent painful mouth infections. Be a vigilant observer. Pay close attention to subtle changes in their behavior, confusion levels, or appetite, as these can be the first signs of an infection. Early detection can lead to gentler management of symptoms. Discuss goals of care. Have open conversations with their medical team about the goals of treatment. Is the goal to aggressively fight every infection, which may involve stressful hospital stays and side effects? Or is the goal to manage symptoms, reduce pain, and maximize comfort and quality of life, perhaps at home? Provide a soothing environment. When they are unwell, focus on keeping them comfortable. Ensure they are warm, hydrated, and in a peaceful environment. Your calm and loving presence can be a powerful balm during times of physical distress. Recognizing the body's increased fragility is not about giving up hope. It is about redefining hope as a wish for a peaceful, comfortable, and dignified journey, free from unnecessary suffering. The fifth sign: a change in the rhythms of life as life's journey nears its destination. Some of the most profound changes occur in the body's most fundamental rhythms, breathing and circulation. These signs are often among the last to appear and are clear indicators that the body is in its final stage of slowing down. You may notice that your loved one's breathing pattern changes. It might become shallower, slower, or irregular. There may be brief pauses between breaths, followed by a few rapid ones. This pattern, sometimes called Cheyne-Stokes respiration, can be alarming to witness, but it is typically not distressing for the individual, as changes in the brain's respiratory center mean they are usually unaware of it. Simultaneously, you will likely notice changes in their circulation. As the heart works less forcefully, the body cleverly prioritizes blood flow to the most vital organs: the heart, lungs, and brain. This means less blood flows to the extremities. Their hands, feet, and even their nose and ears may feel cool to the touch. Their skin, particularly on the limbs, may take on a pale, bluish, or mottled appearance. This is a visible sign that the body is consolidating its life force. They may also experience more shortness of breath, even with minimal exertion like shifting in bed, as the lungs become less efficient. The emotional impact. For family members, these changes can be the most frightening to observe. The instinct is to want to do something to help them breathe more deeply or to warm their cold hands. It feels urgent and final. How to offer support. This is a time for gentle, peaceful reassurance. The goal is not to reverse these natural processes but to ensure the person is as comfortable as possible. Ease their breathing. Simply elevating their head with pillows or raising the head of the bed can make breathing easier. A fan circulating cool air in the room can also reduce the sensation of breathlessness. If their mouth is dry from breathing through it, offer small sips of water or use a moist swab to wet their lips and mouth. Provide warmth. If their hands and feet are cold, cover them with warm, soft blankets. Avoid using electric blankets or heating pads, as their skin is very delicate and can be burned easily. Simply holding their hand can transfer your own warmth and provide immense comfort. Create a calm atmosphere. Speak in a calm, loving tone. Tell them they are safe and not alone. Even if they seem unresponsive, hearing is thought to be one of the last senses to fade. Your reassuring voice can be a guiding light. Be a guardian of peace. This is a sacred time. Your role is to be a calm, loving presence, protecting their peace. This is the final and most profound act of care you can offer. Final thoughts. The gift of a peaceful passage. As we have walked through these 5 signs, the changes in appetite, energy, thought, health, and breathing, it is clear that the end of life is not an event, but a process. It is a journey the body takes, a gradual letting go. To understand these signs is not to morbidly count down the days. It is to be given a sacred trust. This knowledge empowers you to shift your focus from fighting a battle to facilitating a peaceful passage. It allows you to make sure that a loved one's final months, weeks, and days are filled with the things that matter most: comfort, dignity, connection, and the profound reassurance that they are not alone. This is a time for cherishing small moments: the warmth of a hand held, the sound of favorite music, the comfort of a shared memory. It is a time for forgiveness, for saying "I love you," and for the quiet understanding that passes between hearts without any need for words. In offering this compassionate care, You are giving the ultimate gift, the knowledge that they are valued, cherished, and loved to the very end. And in doing so, you create a legacy of peace that will comfort you long after they are gone, knowing you honored their final journey with the grace and love they deserved.